Good morning, BookTube. I just looked at my YouTube channel and it says it was 18 hours ago that I made a video. And I thought, oh, that's too early. I should make a video in 6 hours. Sometime this afternoon instead of, it is October the 11th, 2017. It is 8:27 in the morning here in West Michigan. And I thought, hey, why not? Hey, Steve Donahue, one of the booktubers, he makes videos all day long. And so why can't I? So yeah, I was watching the Steve Donahue, his booktube channel this morning. I like watching him because I'm always curious what books he gets in the mail, new books. I'm always looking for new books. Like I said, yesterday I got this book in the mail. It's not a new book. I think this was first published in, let me see. This was published in 2000. This is the first Pocket Books hardcover printing, 2002. So it's not a new book, but it's a used book. I mean, it must be a remainer or something. It doesn't look like a, oh, there's a thing in here. See, it's a used book. There's something in here. This is American Airlines, Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale. This is a boarding pass that was, when was this issued? It doesn't say. So yeah, it's a used book. There's somebody's boarding pass they used for a bookmarker. Doesn't say. Oh, here it is. It was June the 1st, 2005. So yeah, it's a used book. It cost me, I think, $3. I got Amazon Prime. So then I mentioned I was going to get another book in the mail. This came in the mail. Not this one came by UPS. This one came by regular in the mailbox. This is a new New York review book. New York Review Books. Copyrighted by Joan Sales, 1971. This is a new one. But this is Uncertain Glories, Joan Sales. This is translated from the Catalan. That's by Peter Bush. It says here, Spain, 1937, posted to the Arganes front Lieutenant Lucius Requelida. This eschews the drunken addicts of his comrades and goes in search of intrigue. But the Lady of Castillo de Obala, a beautiful widow with a shadowy past, puts a high price on her affections. In Barcelona, Tridia Momini struggles to raise Louis's son on her own. Letters from the front, her only solace. With bombs falling as fast as the city's morale, she leaves to spend the winter with Louis's brigade in a quiet section of the line. But even on dead fronts, the guns do not stay silent for long. Tridia's decision will put her family's fate in the hands of Julia Soesis, an old cynic locked in eternal struggle with an old friend and traitor of easy conscience, philosopher cynic locked in the struggle, eternal struggle with himself. Joan, so as a combatant in the Spanish Civil War, distilled his experiences into a timeless story of thwarted love, lost youth, and crushed illusions. A thrilling epic that has drawn comparison with the work of Stendhal and Dostoevsky. I can't pronounce names. The uncertain glory is homegrown counterpart to classics such as Homage to Catalina and For Whom the Bell Tolls. So yeah, it's a novel. The setting is in the Spanish Civil War. I think it was first published in 1956. I also been reading last couple of days. I got this one of my birthday books, Between the Woods and the Water, On Foot to Constantinople, the Middle Danube to the Iron Gates by Frederick Leigh Fermor. It's a travel memoir. The setting is the 1930s. He's traveling on foot. His destination is Constantinople in Turkey. I went to a thrift stores yesterday and I only found one book. I collect Oliver Sacks books. This is Island of the Colorblind. I found that. So yeah, that's what I found. Like I've been writing in my diary this morning. I'm on page 921. I do have another Graham Joyce books, The Tooth Fairy. I showed this. I got this at the Book Nook a couple weeks ago. And this morning, I didn't know what I was going to read this morning. Yesterday, I don't know. I was kind of out of it yesterday. I made that video about Christian spirituality, and I've been reading St. John the Cross, the Mount Carmel. I thought I might as well just finish reading it since I started it. I try to read him every year, and we're coming to the. I think I read something this year by him, but I can't remember right now. The Ascent of Mount Carmel is basically a commentary on a poem. I never read the poem that starts out the Mount Carmel. I thought I'd read the poem. The Ascent of Mount Carmel. The heading is stanzas. Well, it says here, theme. The following stanzas include all the doctrine I intend to discuss in this book, The Ascent of Mount Carmel. They describe the way that leads to the summit of the mount, that high state of perfection we here call union of a soul with God. Since these stanzas will serve as a basis for all I shall say, I want to cite them here in full, that the reader may see in them a summary of the doctrine to be expounded. Yet I will quote each stanza again before its explanation and give the verses separately if the subject requires it. Stanzas. A song of the soul's happiness in having passed through the dark night of faith in nakedness and purgation to union with its beloved. Stanza 1. One dark night, fired with love's urgent longing, the sheer grace I went out unseen, a house being now all stilled. In darkness and secure by the secret ladder disguise, the sheer grace. In darkness and concealment, my house being now all stilled. Stanza 3. Oh, that glad night, in secret, for no one saw me, nor did I look at anything, with no other light or guide than the one that burned in my heart. Stanza 4. This guided me more surely than the light of noon, to where he waited for me. Him I knew so well, in a place where no one else appeared. Stanza 5. O guiding night, O night more lovely than the dawn, O night that has united the lover with his beloved, transforming the beloved in her lover. Stanza 6. Upon my flowering breast, which I kept holy for him alone, there he laid sleeping, and I caressing him. There in a breeze from the fanning cedars. Stanza 7. When the breeze blew from the torrent, parting his hair, he wounded my neck with his gentle hand, suspending all my senses. Stanza 8. I abandoned and forgot myself, laying my face on my beloved. All things ceased, I went out from myself, leaving my cares forgotten among the lilies. Now, when you read the Ascent of Mount Carmel, it was never completed. St. John only commented on the first two stanzas. He never finished the treatise of the Ascent of Mount Carmel. He only gets to stanza 2. He never comments on stanzas 3 through 8. And scholars don't know why he never finished it. We just don't know why. But you notice, he says here, a song of the soul's happiness having passed through the dark night. Well, the dark night of faith is a treatise in here. So you have the dark night here. And if you read St. John of the Cross, he talks about the mystical way, purgation, and then you have illumination, and then you have the united way. So everything that St. John of the Cross writes about as far as the spiritual life, the journey, the growth of the soul towards union with God, perfection, has been expounded by all spiritual writers throughout the history of the church. So you can read, there are other books that you can read that go into these deeper spiritual or mystical states of development. This is a good book on, I got this a couple years ago, Silent Music, the Life, Work, and Thought of St. John of the Cross by R.A. Hirama. And he has in here where he discusses the spirituality of St. John of the Cross. You can also get his poems, the poems of St. John of the Cross. There's no commentary. These are, you have the Spanish, and then you have the English translation. This is translated by John Frederick Nims. This is a bilingual edition. So that's what's going on here this morning. Like I said, I'm here by myself. Today, our daughter-in-law and our son Josiah might have their little baby girl. Carol's out there in Seattle, Washington. And I'm sitting here writing in my diary, talking to our deceased dog, Rudy, the Rudy ghost, drinking coffee, writing in my diary, reading mystical theology, and just waiting out the day. So I hope you're having a good week. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. And until next time, bye.